Hey guys, welcome back. I accidentally shot this video in slow motion, so I just sped it up and we're doing a voiceover this time. I am changing the oil on my Ford Econoline E-350 today for the first time in my life. Okay, let me give you a little haul here. I'm using a couple wrenches because I don't know what the bolt is supposed to fit, and we're going to be changing the bolt, the filter, and refilling it up with oil. This is the oil that I'm using, high mileage, because we're at 117 miles. Got a funnel, a rag, new oil filter, Fram, I think is a good brand, and the 7-quart oil pan. Did in fact figure out how to pop the hood. There was like a little locking mechanism in there, but we did go up and put up the little thingamabobber. Now we have to find the dipstick. The dipstick is kind of hard to find in the Econoline because it's tucked back there between everything. But once you get it out, okay, this is me struggling to get it out. Also, I have to use a ladder because I'm only 5'2". But I yanked this dipstick out, and this is the longest dipstick I have ever seen in my life. Once I got this out, then you wipe it off and throw it back in. I tried to watch some videos to figure out what oil is supposed to look like when you take it out. I took it out, there was like 3 drops of oil on it, and it was dark brown. So just the fact that it was dark brown, I feel like that's when you're supposed to change your oil. And I had a little sticker on my window that says that you're supposed to change it at 117 miles anyways. Like, look at that. Why is there like 3 drops of oil on it? Anyways, let's go down underneath the van. Brought all my supplies down here with me. Got my filter, my useless wrenches, list, and 7-quart oil pan. This is the filter, and this is like the cartridge container thing where the oil comes out of and is stored. I used all of these wrenches that were too big, but I did bring an adjustable wrench down there with me, and I was trying to figure out how to get this, but I needed more leverage because this bolt was literally stuck on there. I don't know who the last person was that changed this oil, but this thing was on there tight, so I needed to go up and get a different wrench, and it was a socket wrench. Yes, I got a socket wrench, and this thing gripped on to the threads a lot easier and just came right off. But the bolt got like fused with the socket wrench, so I couldn't really take it off. Since I had this socket wrench bolt combo, I kind of just left the socket wrench on there and bent the handle and just kept turning it around, and eventually the oil came out. I was so happy. Look at those little drips. It's honestly so hard being under this van, but I didn't have any jacks and I didn't want to mess it up or anything. So I am just fitting my little body underneath this van. But anyways, we got the bolt off. Oh, step 1 done. Look at that beautiful waterfall of oil coming out. Make sure you give your pan like a lot of distance though underneath, because that stuff comes out fast. Since this bolt is now fused to this socket wrench, I had to go out of the van and like hit it on some concrete, and eventually it did come off though, so I could reuse this bolt. A lot of people like to change them out, but I thought this looked fine and it wasn't like too rusty or anything. Now it's time to change the oil filter. The oil filter is that black little shiny thing up there, and I brought my other oil filter down with me. You're supposed to put like a little bit of oil around the rim and in the oil filter before you put it on. So I did that, brought it down with me, kept it in the box so it didn't fall over or anything, and I'm trying to get this oil filter off. Whoever put this on made it so tight again. Whoever put this on before me must have had like super strength or something. I think you're supposed to be able to take off the filter just with your own hands, but I had to end up getting these pliers, so pliers to the rescue. They were like $10 at the department hardware store. Oh yeah, this is how I get underneath the van. I literally put a leaf bag underneath me and I slide on my back underneath. It actually works pretty good. But since this is my first time changing the oil, I had no idea what I was doing. I was trying to latch these pliers on and turn this thing. It took me forever. I think I was at a little bit of a disadvantage being so crammed underneath this van, but eventually it did turn a little bit. The pliers work great. It was mainly just like user error, I think. After I get a little turn going, I'm like, okay, great. This thing is coming out. So I bring the full oil quart pan thing over. Okay, guys, empty out your oil pan before you change the filter, because I don't know what I was doing here. But I guess it saves time, but you're literally changing this oil filter over a giant batch of oil while it's slippery and dripping oil everywhere. You can see it on my face right here. I'm like, oh shoot, the oil is coming out. And this oil filter was like slippery already before. So now that there's oil covering it and I'm using one hand, this is just really not a good idea right now. But I have to get this oil filter out because I'm too deep in. But honestly, was so grateful that this oil filter was coming out. It was not budging at all before, and I grabbed those pliers and loosened it up, used my one hand to take it out, and it came out! But in the big lake of oil and splashed all over me. Glad that I caught this in slow-mo for you. Okay, yeah, I was mad that I was covered in oil, but I was actually so happy that this oil filter came off because that was pretty much the last step of underneath the car that we had to do. So I just cleaned it up a little bit and put the new filter on. Replacing that black filter with a new gold filter, wanted it to be nice and shiny, so also I could find it and see it. I mean, I know where it is now. There's not like a lot of things to replace underneath this car / van thing. But yeah, just screw it on tight, make it snug enough that it's not going to rattle off, but you don't need to tighten it so much, like especially with the pliers. When you're putting in this new filter, make sure it's a pre-oiled filter, like you just took a little bit of your oil, put it around the rim on the inside, and you can even fill it up with oil, some people like to do. Put this other bolt back on, the original bolt, and use the socket wrench carefully so that they didn't fuse back together. Woohoo! Round of applause, we're done with underneath the van. So collecting all my supplies and trying to clean up the underneath because there's a big oil spill everywhere. Pop the hood again, and time to fill it up with oil. I had to buy 2 things of oil because each of them were 5 quarts, and I think that I needed to put in 6 quarts. So it is time to fill up the van with oil. This little thing had an oil picture on it, and it said 5W20 on it. I figured that is where we put the oil in. So we're putting our funnel in the hole and just dumping this whole thing in there. Look at that beautiful golden oil. Looks so much fresher than the nasty oil that I just took out of my van. I like this part. It was kind of fun. You just had to like sit there and put the oil in. Like I was getting all fancy with it and stuff. And yeah, so I finished the first oil cartridge container. Had to pop open a second one because there was 5 quarts, and then another 5 quarts, needed 6 quarts, so I had to figure out how to use 1 quart in here, kind of just guesstimating, measuring. Also see that piece of little tinfoil in there? Make sure that doesn't fall into your van oil container. Yeah, okay, yeah, there's a lot going on here. After putting about 1 quart in there, I was all finished. Each of these containers was about 26 bucks, so it was like less than $100 to change the whole thing. Just clean up my battery here. No electrocution. I believe that it's... Actually, we'll just leave that in there right now. And let's check the oil. It might be 7 quarts, but... Oh my gosh, there's a huge spider.
Six quarts.
Great. Great. Looks good. Like there's oil everywhere.
I think he's been there. Oh, what is this? Somebody's recording me.
Oh yes. Look at that! Oh, this is interesting. That's supposed to go over there, it looks like. Yeah, I know battery things.
This, no, see this? Why is that open?
I don't know, it says reset. Don't break it.
No, it should be closed like that, but I don't know what it's for.
Well, let's put it back, right?
Well, it was out to start with. It was
I don't know what to do. You're the electricity man.
What does that say? What is that, Recon?
Yes.
Is that the lift? Is that the brand of the lift?
Yes.
Okay, that's the lift.
Okay. Don't just say confusing things and then leave. Alright,
If you
oil. Oil changed. Thanks for watching.